All right, folks, it is time for World Edition on October 14th, 2025. Let's see what's going on in the world and around the world and all along those lines. So definitely a lot is going on, including that polls and all along those lines. But that is definitely one of the top news stories that is taking place, and that a lot of people are paying attention to, and all along those lines. So definitely that is something that is being talked about across the globe and all along those lines. So there's definitely people asking what issues are still to be resolved in the Gaza ceasefire deal, and Trump hailing a new Middle East avoids the hard questions ahead. And Trump convinced Netanyahu to take a deal. Can he keep him on board? So definitely that's one of the things that folks are asking about this particular peace deal and how long it will last and all along those lines. Madagascar's president dissolves the National Assembly, flees amid violent unrest. So definitely elite Madagascar military unit says it has seized power from President Andre Rajoelina, and definitely the Madagascar president dissolves parliament after fleeing army-backed protests. Madagascar's president has left the country after those Gen Z protests, officials are saying. And fighting flares in Gaza as Donald Trump says the war is over. That was on yesterday. And Schumer and Clinton lead Democrats praising Trump for the Israel Hamas ceasefire deal. So the release of Israeli hostages and Palestinian prisoners in photos and videos if you go to the New York Times and places like that. After Trump declares war is over, Hamas executes rivals in Gaza to reassert control. So, video shows execution in Gaza City as armed groups vie for control. So, Hamas fighters tighten grip in Gaza, clouding the future of the ceasefire. Hamas deploys armed fighters and police across parts of Gaza. NATO chief Mark Rutte mocks Russia over limping submarine in English Channel. NATO chief jokes about the limping Russian submarine. Russian submarine's unusual behavior has NATO's attention, and a top official says it's limping home. So definitely that's something that folks are talking about as well. Death toll from torrential rains in Mexico rises to 64 as the search expands. Heavy rains flood Mexico towns, leaving nearly 130 dead or missing. Heavy rain in Mexico has set off floods and landslides, killing at least 37. Dozens are dead, missing, and thousands of homes are destroyed after rains swept across Mexico. Israel reportedly gives Hamas Tuesday deadline for progress on return of hostage bodies. So Israel names 2 of 4 dead hostages returned by Hamas and tells how they died. Israel won't reopen the Rafah crossing, will limit aid over Hamas's failure to return all bodies, is what a report is saying. And Gaza ceasefire live. Red Cross warns of massive challenge in returning bodies of hostages as key truce issue remains. And a house explosion in Italy kills 3 police officers near Verona trying to serve eviction notice. Blast kills 3 police officers trying to evict siblings from a house in Italy. So that was something that was being reported as 3 Italian police officers were killed after being intentionally blown up. And that was in an Italian farmhouse all along those lines. Indonesia finds radiation at Clove Farm in probe sparked by cesium-137 tainted shrimp incident. So what is really going on with all this radioactive shrimp is what some people are asking. Indonesia officials find cause of CS-137 contamination behind radioactive shrimp. So Indonesia says 22 plants in industrial zone near Jakarta have been contaminated by Cassium-137. And U.S. and Malaysia work to expand the Thailand-Cambodia ceasefire in advance of the ASEAN summit. So Trump to oversee Cambodia-Thai peace deal at ASEAN summit, which, like I said, will be held in Malaysia. And Trump administration demand that Cambodia peace in trade talks. And Cambodia appears to accept Thailand's preconditions for peace talks. Cameroon opposition candidate Tichirama claims victory in presidential polls. So Cameroon's Issy Tichirama Bakari claims presidential election victory. So some people, including the economists, are saying it's the new age of the African big man. So Cameroon awaits election results as Paul Biya 6th and 8th term. UN says countries are willing to help fund Gaza's $70 billion reconstruction. Drone footage above Gaza City shows the tolls of 2 years of war. And Gaza will be in the shadow of famine as long as we cannot plant our land, is what was reported in Al Jazeera. And the controversy over the collapsed China spy case is explained, and Starmer says he expects debate about the full horror of what happened in Gaza when the media is allowed in, and all along those lines. Jonathan Powell has made no decision about evidence in the China spy case, is what a minister says. So Westminster's skepticism complicates Keir Starmer's China's ambition. Israel and Hamas trade accusations of ceasefire violations. So Israel opens fire on several people in Gaza to remove threat, and it definitely looked like 5 Palestinians were killed in Gaza City for alleged ceasefire violations, according to what the IDF is saying. Summit, Trump and world leaders sign up for peace in Gaza with Netanyahu. So definitely that's something that folks are talking about, the peace summit in Egypt and the shutdown lessons from the USAID. Celebrating a hard-won ceasefire, Trump pushes for lasting harmony in the Middle East. So joint Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, U.S. statements on Gaza were reported in Al Jazeera. So I might try to get those and maybe have those talked about later on this week or maybe even this evening. Why no hair and an extremely small crown? Trump slams the Time cover. Trump knocks Time over a super bad photo with relatively good story about me. President Trump accuses Time magazine of deliberately using the worst photo of all time on the cover, praising his peace deal. Ukraine's formula for peace: fewer talks, more weapons. So definitely that's something that people are talking about, how Ukraine turned the tables on Russia and why Putin and Russia may be running out of time in Ukraine. So that's something that folks are talking about. And the Nobel Economic Prize goes to 3 researchers for explaining innovation-driven economics. So the Nobel Peace Prize finally recognizes what matters most in economics, a Nobel Prize for explaining when technology leads to growth. So those 3 winners were Joel Macher, Phil Agion, and Peter Howitt. So that's who shared the Nobel in economics. Donald Trump, 79, can't stop mentioning Caroline Leavitt's lips. So the president has a history of discussing his 28-year-old press secretary's looks, and Trump made another weird statement about Caroline Leavitt's lips. So definitely even AOL is saying Donald Trump's gross remarks about Caroline Leavitt is condemned online. So it's being condemned online and everything like that. Chris Mason says the SNP are the latest proof that things change quickly in politics, like reform. The SNP is riding high on fantasy. So that is something that people are talking about as reforms rise in Scotland may get an unexpected boost and what it means for Starmer. So definitely that is something that people are talking about in the news and around the news and all along those lines. I'll get to a couple of U.S. stories and then see who's in the room with us and what they want to talk about. 1 dead, 2 missing after severe Alaska flooding. Coast Guard officials are talking about, and 1 killed, dozens rescued after storm slams western Alaska as search for the missing continues. So flooding from ex-typhoon kills 1 and displaces hundreds in Alaska. And Supreme Court rejects Alex Jones' appeal of $1.4 billion Sandy Hook judgment. So the Supreme Court turns away Alex Jones' attempted to block his $1.58 defamation judgment. So definitely that's something that folks are talking about as well. And a Mississippi homecoming football game shooting, 4 suspects arrested after 6 dead and 20 were injured. FBI provides details on the 4 arrested in the Leland shooting investigation. And the government shutdown is continued. Government shutdown posed to enter a third week as Congress remains at a stalemate. So the Trump administration and government shutdown is still continuing. 5 things to know about the healthcare fight behind the shutdown is what's being reported by NBR. But Governor Janet Mills of Maine to run for Senate, aiming at Senator Susan Collins. So Maine Governor Mills joins a crowded Democratic primary in race to challenge the longtime GOP senator. Maine Governor Janet Mills' bid for Senate reignites the Democrats' age debate. So they're wondering if the current one might not be too old and all along those lines. So we'll see how this plays out. And several news outlets reject Pentagon's reporting restrictions. News outlets broadly reject Pentagon's new press rules, and media outlets, including MAGA channel Newsmax, refuse to sign Pentagon's press access rules. I'll have to ask Nick if we're going to try to accept their rules or not, and we're going to go cover things in that area. China targets 5 U.S. subsidiaries of South Korea's Hanwha Ocean, sending shares down 8%. So U.S. starts charging Chinese ships to dock at its ports. So U.S. and China have rolled out tit-for-tat port fees, threatening more turmoil areas as well, or more turmoil at sea. So definitely that's something that will definitely be playing out as well. And there's definitely folks that are wondering what's going on with the Voting Rights Act. Some people are asking will the Supreme Court use a Louisiana case to gut the Voting Rights Act, and Black residents are worrying that the new Louisiana congressional district could be lost in the Supreme Court case. So that's going on even right here in the United States and everything like that. There was even some flooding in around the East Coast. So powerful storms pummeled the U.S. East Coast, and at least 3 were dead as day-long nor'easter brings final surge of coastal flooding to Jersey Shore. So definitely in New York, brace for potential flooding and heavy winds from that nor'easter yesterday as well. I think the rain might be gone from them as well as up here, but some damage has already been done. Witnesses who could shed light on the case of the deadly Tennessee blast were killed. Authorities identified 16 killed in Tennessee explosive factory blasts. So that's some of the things that are going on in the news, including Senate Republicans face state health care concerns and high-stake shutdowns and standoffs. So that's definitely some of the things that people are talking about and all along those lines. I've got Nick with me, and I've got Rick Rosner, and all along those lines. So how are you two gentlemen doing? Lots going on in the world. We've got peace talks. Peace in the Middle East, even though seems like there were disruptions in the peace because both sides fired on each other in day 2 and everything like that. So what's going on in y'all's world?
We got rain in LA for the first time in months and months.
In Spain?
The rain in Spain never happens. It's always sunny and warm and nice. It's like LA used to be before LA turned into a third world country. So
LA is still pretty freaking nice. Now, I fear for the future of LA. I think it'll keep getting hotter. We'll have more 100-degree days. I think the entertainment industry will drip by drip abandon LA over the next few decades.
Yeah,
move to more comfortable places, but right now LA is still pretty nice.
Oh, really? Okay.
They had some tragedy involving a major political person, because I just saw this that I didn't get to. Apparently, Mitt Romney's sister-in-law passed away after a possible fall or a jump from a parking structure. So I guess they're trying to figure out if that was a accident or a suicide, but she did fall from a Southern California parking garage.
Really? Wow, that's pretty odd. Anyway, I was looking to go to Egypt, but after looking at some videos, I may have to postpone that for a while. A couple problems. Number one, they have a lot of cats, and I'm deathly allergic to cats. So I see a place that have cats, I can't do it. Number two, the air quality isn't very good. I'm asthmatic. That doesn't work for me. Number three, apparently it's dirty and corrupt, and that doesn't make for a good vacation or sightseeing place. They do plan on cleaning it up because the Egyptian government plans on increasing their tourism because they've had some highs and lows on that. But I may put that on hold and either go to Istanbul or Bucharest or Sofia. Bucharest and Sofia are both in the European Union, so they're more favorable. But Istanbul is also might be quite interesting. But I was looking at that before I came on board.
Back up there, because I used to have one a long time ago and everything like that. So you were thinking about going to Egypt, but you can't go to Egypt because you have an allergy and you and cats don't get along and everything. But if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they treat cats as deities in Egypt and everything like that?
Yeah, but that doesn't help me if I'm allergic to them. You know, they can worship cats and they make me real sick. So, you know, they can.
It's a weird thing to be allergic to God.
I know that's true, but that's just the nature of the beast here. And then the videos that I've seen, they're pretty corrupt and pretty dirty and nasty. And I don't know, you know, the thing is, I don't do the dirty, nasty stuff. I mean, if they clean that part up, then maybe it's okay. But
you're right up against the European. There's so many great places within.
Well, that's the whole point. In other words, you have your choice where to go. So I'm now looking at Bucharest. Romania.
Well, you got praised yesterday, and I just thought I'd tell you this, but there's a young lady, I think she's working at either Duke, I think she went to Duke, but she's working at UNC is what she told me, but she's taking African dance, and I told her that you were living in Spain with your wife, and she was very excited for you because she is from Italy, so she's actually here studying.
Italy is on the list for March, so the thing is go to Venice and Vienna. What I was looking for is January, and I want some place that's warmer. And Egypt would be warmer, but if they haven't got their act together, you know, I'm not sure about right now.
What happened to Morocco? We have plans to Morocco.
Morocco's okay, but I've already been there. Unless I go to Marrakesh, I've already been to Morocco.
Speaking of Europe and NATO, Russia has been poking at. There have been a dozen incidents since September of Russia either sabotaging airports with cyber attacks, flying jets over or flying drones over.
Yeah.
And I read an article yesterday calling this step 0 of World War III that Putin is poking at Europe to see how concerted the response is. And if he detects weakness, you know, he might start looking at invading other places.
Yeah. You know, I think he's going to find the European Union to be a very formidable foe, just like he didn't do too well in the Ukraine. But Russia is off the list right now because they're a rogue state. I went there about 6 years ago, and it was okay. But now they're just, you know, they're acting like Russians. They're acting like Cold War people. And we don't even broadcast it. We had 20,000 people watching us in Russia until the Ukraine war started, and it went down to like 0. So Russia's
kind of like 1 or 2 every once in a while. So every once in a while, you might get a rogue person. Speaking of rogue,
get rogue
there's
people
a whole notion of redistricting, and it might be coming to your former state because apparently Trump's asking there to be redrawn of the congressional map either here in North Carolina. So North Carolina Republicans are heeding Trump's call to redraw the congressional map. So they want to add a seat.
Yeah, well, my opinion is we should get rid of both of those incredibly stupid parties called the Democrats and Republicans. And people should all affiliate as independent. You know, when you go to law school, they teach you, learn for yourself. Don't have other people tell you what you should know. And unfortunately, both the Democrats and the Republicans, they are going to tell you what you should know and what you should suck up to. So my solution is you should basically disintegrate both these parties. They're worthless, and get rid of both the Democrats and the Republicans.
But how is that going to work, Nick? Because follow local elections, people have these lovely things called PACs, and people are given sheets, and they might be.
It's all groupthink. You know, it's all groupthink, and it's basically groupthink by the media, groupthink by the parties, groupthink to get money out of you by creating this thing called a Democrat and this thing called Republican. It's very similar to what they did in Ireland. You're a Protestant or you're a Catholic. Give
we're
me a
set up
break.
to have political parties. Our system was kind of built around that. That somebody.
Yeah, I know, but it's dumb. Just because your system was built around something incredibly stupid doesn't mean you maintain it. You know, the thing is, like I said, in law school, they teach you to be independent.
Well, here's the problem. When you vote for president, the president in the election has to win a majority of electoral votes. And if nobody gets a majority, then it goes to Congress, it goes to the House. And then you got a bunch of political hacks in the House deciding who's going to be president, which means you've given up your ability to elect a president.
Yeah, under the current system that everybody volunteers like a bunch of sheep to fall into. Sheep will become a Democrat. A sheep will become a Republican. The person who can think will be independent. Period.
But if you vote independent,
I don't have any problems. I don't like either parties.
If you vote independent in the presidential election, you've thrown away your vote because.
No, you always throw away your vote. Come on. No matter who votes in a presidential election, you throw away your vote. You're 1 out of 80 million people who vote. What's the odds of you making a difference? Probably nothing. So everybody who votes throw away their vote. If you're going to throw away your vote as an independent.
I don't want to vote for somebody like a freaking Ralph
Nader. Why do people have a problem not being a sheep? You know, the thing is,
I don't vote for Ralph Nader or Jill Stein or people like that.
Tell me what I should think, Dad. Tell me what I think should think.
There haven't been any decent. I mean, the guy the independent who got the most votes in the past century as an independent was Ross Perot, got 19% of the vote. And he was okay. He was kind of a lunatic, but like Jill Stein, a grifty lunatic. No good. Like,
you know, I know, but remember, just because you're an independent doesn't mean you can't vote for Party A or Party B. It means that your affiliation is independent. In other words, you are not affiliated. You're smart enough not to suck up to either party, and you're willing to look at the viewpoints of both sides. And so you want to classify yourself as a Democrat or Republican and vote.
No, I understand your point, Nick, but I've got a question for Rick, since he's here and everything, because there's another new thing that just came down, and it's one of his favorite topics and everything, but it's down in your neck of the woods. So apparently California just passed a new AI and social media law to protect, to force chatbots to protect kids' mental health, and the social media must warn users of profound health risks under California law.
Let's talk about what happens. So AIs are all trained to be super friendly. There's a war. It's like during COVID, at the beginning of COVID, there was a war between streaming TV services, HBO Max and Netflix, and they were all throwing a bunch of pretty good shows at us, trying to become the big dog in the market. The same thing's happening right now with AI. They're throwing a bunch of stuff at people, like you can make video, you can do this, you can do that, and part of that, trying to win the AI wars, is that AI is extremely kiss ass to you, very complimentary. Like you'll type something into AI and say, can you give me 5 ideas for this? Like, well, I'll say, give me some ideas for this book I'm writing. And they'll go, well, that's a great idea for a book. And here are some ideas. But if you're some kid who says, I don't have any friends at school, I'm bullied, I feel really bad. And, AI can come back and say, I'm thinking of doing something about it. And AI can come back and say, oh, you're a great guy. And, you deserve to have friends. But if you're thinking about, harming yourself, AI is supposed to be trained to make you back away from.
Yeah, but can AI also?
But also, if you tell AI you've got voices in your head, and they're telling you this and that, AI might agree with you, and so AI being kiss ass, you don't want AI to amplify every idea you have.
So AI may tell you to eliminate the opposition, and you may take that literally versus figuratively.
Can AI start telling people that you can think for yourself? You don't need the Democrat or Republican Party to think for you?
That's not.
Well, AI could do that, but AI is also.
Oh, good.
lot of people.
Maybe we'll have that taken over. Oh, wait, speaking of independent thought, a person who's not affiliated with either party, there's Dr. Sharif. Dr. Sharif, are you a Democrat or Republican? Those are your choices.
I am Republican.
Oh, you're Republican, really? I didn't know they had Republicans over in Bangladesh.
No, yeah, Professor Nick. I work with American professor, and he's right wing, and he has a think tank, Academics for Trump, and I'm a chair of this think tank. I work.
So you're the chair of his think tank. Cool.
But do you have Democrats and Republicans in Bangladesh?
Oh, honestly speaking, our present chief advisor, according to my understanding, I have friends both from left wing and right wing, but he may very good like close friend for Democrats like Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, and he worked for this net zero projects, climate project. I also work for climate projects, so they're very active in Bangladesh. Very active in Bangladesh.
Professor Sharif, I was watching your show, and I've watched it a couple of times. We aired it because we actually aired it earlier today. And if I remember correctly, you have on your show people from the U.S., but you also have people because if I remember correctly, isn't Ali the young lady from Brazil? So you have people from various other countries, not just Bangladesh, but even some of the European countries. Because I think that if I remember correctly, because I was on the show one time with her, that she's from Brazil, correct?
Ali from Britain.
From where?
But Britain, UK.
UK.
Yeah. So we have people from different countries. As we do research, we have a lot of collaborations. That is the way we work. But US politics is very popular in Bangladesh, and especially our Monday show, especially with the Honorable David Walker, it's very popular. Even I share with the last episode, you can see Saudi ambassadors joining this program, Ghulam Moshi, and he also support Trump, and especially emerging economy. There are a lot of debate. Yes, Trump, the immigration issues, and this other economic tariff and everything. There are many criticized, but in terms of Nobel Prize in global peace, I think many South Asian people, politicians from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, I think Pakistan Prime Minister heavily introduced, even they nominate Trump for Global Peace Prize. They really like Trump because they are stopping, he really work on these things. People have a lot of criticize about US politics and everything, but people love a lot about Trump and his initiative for closing the deals and everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, Dr. Sharif, a question for you, because I don't really know that much as I should about Bangladesh, but here in the United States, I'm sure Nick will have some interesting thoughts around this, because, yesterday was a federal holiday. I almost forgot because of some people. I said that I had African dance class at my other job and everything, and one of my coworkers called because they were trying to decide whether we were having class or not, because yesterday was Indigenous Peoples Day and Columbus Day, and I think last year we did not the class because people took it off for that particular holiday. This time we kept the class and everything like that. But there's this whole notion of the Indigenous people celebration, and I do have some of that bloodline in my own family and everything like that. But I was just wondering, how are the native people treated in Bangladesh? And I'm sure there's some native people in Bangladesh that are original Bangladesh people from Bangladesh. So how are they treated? Because even some indigenous people were striking a conciliatory tone as Trump apparently focused on wanting to reclaim Columbus's legacy. Columbus's legacy was that he was lost, but that's what they want to reclaim.
Okay. One very interesting questions. If you see myself, I am basically black. I have tummy, right? I'm short. I'm not like maybe all of you are 6 feet or 6 feet plus. If you see the South Asian people, Indian origin people, there are 4 kinds of people: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Let's say 1,000 years before. And if you see the Sri Lankan people, Bangladeshi peoples, those who have big tummy, black, short peoples, They are actually originate from Bangladesh. They are real originate, but like European, definitely we are under British colony 100 years. So when they come, yeah, they go for some sort of cross cultures and other things. They are not black like me. My wife look like white people, so she is more like European origin. But Bangladeshi real people or real original peoples like me. If you see myself, I'm short man. I'm not. No, I'm very hardworking. I have tummy because I eat a lot of rice. So this is original source of Bangladeshi bread. Uh, and second interesting things I just want to share because still we have some challenge in our hill track in Chittagong. And I have core empathy and pure empathy about these people. There are some miscommunication and challenge we have in between these uh, indigenous peoples from this Chittagong and from the Bengali people. But here is the importance of Trump. Even if you see this last episode, because how USA contributing and Japan is contributing through this Chittagong with the diplomacy with Myanmar, with India, with Bangladesh. That is the symbol of peace. That's why this time, I think after a long time, Bangladeshi governments, they invite US Navy to do some sort of activities and other things. So it's not bad. It's not bad. Example, if I work with Pot TV and I learn good things and I develop my country, not bad things, right? I should be open-minded and I learn from Western country. That is not bad.
I'm not as tall as I'd like to be. I'm maybe 5'10" and a half. When I was a kid, I would strap weights to my leg and hang, trying to stretch myself, but people laughed at me too much for I think it would have worked if I kept up with it, but I didn't like getting laughed.
Hey, Rick, what do you think about this person that unfortunately was assassinated and everything, but apparently he's going to get the posthumous Medal of Freedom.
Charlie Kirk, yeah, he's going to get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And I mean, that's what Trump's going to do. He's going to he gave it to Rush Limbaugh. He gives it to people who share his right-leaning political beliefs. So is it a big deal? No, I mean, it's a big deal to his family and stuff. It's a big deal to his followers. Is it something that, among all the stuff Trump does to piss off the libs, is this worth getting pissed off about? Nah. I don't think
so. Worth getting worked up about. Hey, Nick, it looks like House Speaker Johnson is saying that the government shutdown could be the longest ever. So it looks like we're going for the record and everything. So he's embracing Freedom Caucus tactics in the shutdown fight. So are we going to have this long shutdown continue? Because it's already been, about 3 weeks now?
Mark, 2 weeks. As you know, that was my prediction several weeks ago, that this is going to last until next year. But I don't want to go against the Las Vegas odds makers, who 2/3 says it's going to end in November.
Yeah, let's take a look and see if the odds.
That's where I said, because the thing is, the people are too what they call positional. Again, it's the problem in America that you're party sheep. Bad, I want to be a Republican. Bad, I want to be a Democrat. But no, I can't think for myself. And until you get over that mentality, you're going to continue to have problems in that country. Yeah. What do you have, Rick?
Yeah, I have to find the where you can bet on it.
Well, looking for the bet and everything, I do have to tease Trump because apparently he has a fixation. I think Caroline Leavitt is his press secretary, with her lips and everything like that. So what is it with him and his blonde ladies and everything like that? Because apparently he has a fixation on a lot of them, and I don't know how his wife is feeling about this, but he apparently.
Have you seen Fox News, Mark? Okay, I mean, the thing is, Fox News, that's what they have. I mean, it is what it is. So, that's Donald Trump, that's Fox News. I mean, but then if you look at CBS is the colored broadcasting station. So you got, different, but if you look at it in Europe, they don't even carry either one. I mean, we don't watch Fox in Europe and Spain. We don't watch CBS. The only two places they have is CNN and BBC. So
in Europe, y'all have porn stars that sometimes become weathermen.
Yeah, it's just different here, you know. So it's just like in Bangladesh. If you ask, I'm glad Dr. Sharif is on here because you're finally introducing to the United States of America. So we still have 2 million people in the U.S. who watch this show. You're introducing them what's going on in parts of the world they have no clue, which is Bangladesh. They don't know this. They don't know your country to save their lives. Half the United States probably can identify on a globe where Bangladesh is. Dr.
Yeah, true.
I'm serious. Okay.
Yeah.
Glad you're here because you're introducing them to Bangladesh and Asia, which has 50% of the world's population. And the U.S. goes, who are they? Where are they? You know, they just don't even know who and where you guys are. But you've been to the U.S. You've been to San Francisco. Have you been to Europe, Dr. Sharif?
Yeah. Yes, I stayed a long time in Europe, like 10 years before I was in Europe. And for my PhD, I also visit Europe. I did my PhD in Paris. Anyway, I have interesting things because I want to add it because I heavily promote our POT TV, especially in academia, especially with the youth and universities. Many people want to meet with Rick Rosner, and Mark Lee, and all of your peoples personally. Like Bangladeshi people love to meet with personally. I can remember when this tariff issue came, you said it will be valuable for Bangladesh. Bangladesh will get a lot of investments from other country. I think Nick, you said that. And if you see the CNBC in USA, they also published the same thing just 1-2 days ago, that Bangladesh will be the next destination for investment because many investment from China, it will come to Bangladesh.
Right.
So I want to give a very special credit to you for these particular issues. And I also want to help your country. How? Let's say as your countries or your government, it's very big economy, but as you have a lot of challengers trying to solve this challenge or other thing, and you said this is very, I think very hard if this shutdown go until next year. I think the maximum shutdown USA face around 45 days or something. I do not know. It's my record. Maybe I'm right or wrong. But my thoughts, why don't your countries or your diplomats or your people do more business with this emerging economy? Example, Bangladesh, Pakistan, in between India and Pakistan. He solved this Israel and Iran, and 8 different where Trump is stopped. Why don't USA make more business relationship with this kind? It's emerging economy, but it has a very good energy, and still USA can contribute a lot. Even in Bangladesh, let's say in Chittagong, right? I'm discussing Chittagong. In Chittagong area, USA can support with their LNG. USA can support with their deep sea port, and honestly speaking, they can manage this way, this Belt and Road Initiative, and they can regain more business. Chittagong can be next Singapore for South Asia. So why don't USA can engage with this kind of countries and make a very good business relationship and bring more financial gain through this process?
One of the questions I would ask you in regards to that is, there were efforts and there are still efforts in various countries in the African nations to reach out to African American business owners, and sometimes they offer discounts, they offer trade deals, they offer other things, which is the reason that one of our hosts, Barbara Smith, has been to various countries, I think Kenya and Ghana and a number of other ones as well, and everything like that. So I guess the question I have for you is, what kind of opportunities and deals are being offered by Bangladesh, because that's what most business people, whether they are white or black or purple, are looking for in order to get them to come there. Because most people, if you ask them to come to Bangladesh or even Spain, where Nick is, their biggest complaint is it costs too much money.
Very good questions. According to my understanding, if we do business, I worked with Africa also a long time, but Africa is a very good place in terms of development. I'm expert of developing economy. So with their agriculture, with their young generations, youth generations, they can, with their land, with their resources, they can make a huge economic contribution. They can grow. So in that situations, even USA is very important with their AI corporations, like with NVIDIA, with OpenAI, and all of the big companies. They can train the African youth communities, and they can get maximum success. On the other hand, Bangladesh contributing through this military diplomacy. You know that our World Talent also contributing with MIST, Military Institute of Science and Technology. Africa has a lot of tension, lot of war last decades, and Bangladeshi military. I thought that they are very professionals, and they contribute a lot through these things. Even Africa has some institutions, some area they speak in Bangla, they utilizing Bangla because our peacekeeping missions, definitely UN support it, and they actually create a very good ecosystem. So thought, honestly speaking, diplomacy with this peacekeeping mission, what actually Trump trying to do, this is an excellent opportunities for business growth. So US people, I can understand everybody criticize Donald Trump. I completely understand because he is against globalizations and everything. It creates some problem even for Bangladeshi businessmen or Indian businessmen, everything. But still, I believe peace is more valuable. Peace
Hey,
is really
Nick,
valuable.
yeah, that makes sense and everything. Hey, Nick and Rick, that's the complaint that I've heard of.
Rick has a comment.
Yeah, so I looked up the I couldn't find. Sometimes the bookie I look at doesn't offer odds on stuff, so I couldn't find the bookie odds. But there's Polymarket, which is where it's like an investment market in betting, and on Polymarket they're only giving a 32% chance that the government shutdown gets solved by the end of October.
Oh, okay. So to me, that would be more reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, the question I have for you, you moved recently to Spain, and Rick, you've had your daughter live now in England. The complaint that I hear people say all the time among certain group of folks is that, you know, they might live in the hood or they might live in what people call the project, and they would love to go out of town and will go maybe even to New York or DC, which I've had the pleasure of going to, or Miami, but definitely they would love to go overseas, but they can't afford it and everything. So what do you say to folks that are feeling that they would love to go and visit Spain, but don't feel that they can afford a trip?
Spain is super affordable.
Super affordable. See what's happened there, Rick, and Mark, is that the prices of airline tickets have gone down tremendously over the last 5 years. It used to be, they were correct, it was unaffordable. You go on Orbitz or you go on online, and the prices were high. The only prices that went up over the last 5 years is first class. If you want to go to first class, it's triple the amount that it was 5 years ago. If you're willing to go economy, you can go across the pond for a couple $100. I mean, you know, if you're in New York, that's a meal out, and you go across the pond. I mean, seriously, you just have to shop, go on the right day, and it's super cheap. Yeah. Then if you go to the right hotels, it's also in the right cities. It's also cheap. Madrid and Barcelona are pretty expensive. You go outside, the prices drop 50%.
Yeah,
so
my kid and her husband, they don't have a lot of money, but they can fly to Europe they take little vacations to countries across Europe because they can probably get a couple tickets round trip for the two of them for maybe $300.
No, you won't necessarily.
Okay, hold on. I'm curious. Where can you get the tickets for $300?
Level.
No, but you have to be.
I can tell you one airline I fly a lot. It's called Level Airlines. It's headquartered in Barcelona, and they do A330s between the Americas and Barcelona. You know, sometimes they'll drop the price for like $330 round trip. I mean, not kidding, Jato.
But what I'm saying is, if you're already in England and you want to visit like Norway, you can probably look around and get it. You get it.
The tickets from England and Norway about $100 round trip. I live to go to London. That's the reason if you come to London, just let me know, Rick. I'll go visit you. It's $100 round trip. The plane prices have gone down tremendously, unless you want to go to first class. Then it's 3 times more. So,
I think it would be good, because if you guys have found these prices, that would be great to put them out there, because we just did a trip for 2 people to fly into England, and it was I think it was like $1,500.
Yeah, no. If you
one
want
way?
to cross the ocean, yeah, that's expensive. But if you're already over there and you want to go if you want to go
Okay.
Europe,
But even across the ocean, it should be really cheap level.
So you're basically saying
But
that you can
in
cheap
terms
if
of
you
living,
once you've got across the ocean.
So in terms of living in London, food is cheap, housing is expensive, because what you get for your housing dollar in London is ridiculous, because their whole housing stock was built under Queen Victoria, and there are these tiny little houses that were built for blue collar workers 120 years ago, and they're teeny. A lot of them didn't come with bathrooms. They had bathrooms added on in weird places. My kid and her husband, are shopping for a home for themselves, and every place they're looking at is 800 square feet. It's which is the size of a mid-size apartment over in America.
Okay, Jatovia, I'm giving you the prices on Level. Now, realize this is a discount airline, and there's not much they're going to give you except the round trip ticket. One way, and you always fly on Wednesday. I fly lots of you fly Tuesday or Wednesday. Don't fly during the weekends. Okay, one way from New York to Barcelona, 188 euros, which is about $200. Fly back, it's the same price. So for $400, you can come to Barcelona. Seriously, 188 euros one way, 188.
Flying midweek, you're right. My wife
is. You got to fly midweek. You got to fly Tuesday. You got to fly Tuesday and Wednesday. Now the problem is you live in Raleigh, Durham, so you have to get to New York to get to Level. Level only operates in Boston and New York on the East Coast and Miami. Raleigh, you got to really shop for, and Delta has a non-stop to London and also to Paris, but you got to really shop for those ones.
Round trip LA to London is like $1,500, and if you want to fly first class, it's $10,000. It's freaking crazy.
First class has gone way up. It used to not be.
No, but I don't know who flies first class unless you work for a corporation that's willing to fly you.
You use your points to go first class.
But the deal is, if you fly midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the plane is likely not going to be full, and you'll have at least one seat next to you that gives you a little room to stretch out, because it's a 10-11 hour flight.
Just don't go first class anymore. I mean, the thing is, first class has gone, like I said, it's gone way up, but economy has gone way down. So, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. And then sometimes there'll be discounts, like on Iceland Air. You just have to stop by Reykjavik on the way over, and it's real cheap. Okay, I got you one here, Jatovia, on Delta. This is round trip from Raleigh to Paris, $557 on Delta, nonstop. Like, no kidding. But remember, you got to leave Wednesday and come back Wednesday. I can probably get it lower if I go to Iceland Air, but you have to stop by Reykjavik if you don't want to stop.
You say have to stop by. Iceland is a really cool place. I'd love to visit Reykjavik.
Yeah, well, American Airlines, I'm at 557. I got you down at 550 if you take American, but then it's not a nonstop. So Orbitz is really great.
But when is that being flown?
Oh, in January, of course. What do you think? You're going to go in August? August is way too expensive. You're going January to Paris, baby. Okay, so it's not like you can't get here at a reasonable price. You've got to shop to get at a reasonable price. But I think Iceland Air is all.
So you're doing an off-season midweek flight.
That is correct, sir. That's how you do it. Okay, now, but let me check Iceland Air, because remember, Iceland Air.
I'm checking it too. So I just saw something from $600. Let's see, $600, $592. I'm just checking various $587. This is New York.
Is that from LA? Rick, is that from LA?
No, that's New York to London.
I think Iceland Air is now out of Raleigh.
So as a question, since we're on this treasure hunt, why not do a warmer time when people can when a lot more people enjoy that time to go to these places.
Look,
So you're looking
it's
closer
always-
toward.
Jatovia, it's always a good time to go to Paris. Come on. You know, you're talking.
It's not a good time to go to go when it's freezing cold and raining.
All right, let's
It's the same weather you have in Raleigh. You just go from freezing cold Raleigh to freezing cold, but it's not that
let's
cold.
see.
No,
All right.
it's nice. It's nice out here today. It was actually nice yesterday, just cloudy.
Yeah, but remember with global warming means that Paris will be warm in January. So don't knock it. I mean, I used to go to New York and then it was cold, but then I thought, hey, there's global warming. So I went to New York in January and it was warm. It's nice. So because of global warming, take advantage of it. Go to Paris.
Okay, so
That's the
Iceland.
reason I'm all for global warming. This way you don't listen to people complaining.
So Iceland Air, I searched for May, and they have flights for $745. So you're going to pay $200 more for going in a warmer time of the year.
Yeah, right. So you pay for the warmer time, but if you go in January, it's probably cheaper. You know. So again, you just have to shop the airlines, and then you pick your flights.
I bet if you go to Iceland and you're young enough to go to clubs, I bet you the clubs are crazy. The nightclubs in December and January.
Of course, they're all full because that's what they do. Remember, there's only 300.
It's
There's only 300,000 people in the whole country of Iceland. They have that many people living on one block in Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Also, everybody in Iceland is related to everybody else. I bet you they're eager to hook up with somebody whose name isn't Sigmund's daughter, because that's
Sigmund's daughter. We're bashing Iceland, but I don't think we get a lot of
views. We're just saying
no one lives in Iceland.
Yeah, but it's dark and cold. But I've seen Conan O'Brien.
You get to see the Aurora Borealis.
They have the fish is great. The pastries are great. I assume the drinking is great. And I know if you go to the clubs, they have it's a foam party every night, where you might get bacteria from they fill the club with bubbles, and everybody's
like I said, I went to one of those decades ago and everything, so that can be a very weird party to go to. I got a question for everybody unrelated to that and everything along those lines, but what is folks thinking about MTJ? Apparently she's not too happy with her own party, and she says GOP man and Congress are weak. So apparently she's backing Obamacare subsidies, and apparently she's trying to soften her tone. So what are our thoughts around
she's always been a loose cannon. She said crazy crap, but now I like the crazy crap she's saying.
Maybe
she's running for a bigger office.
Maybe she'll become an independent. Who knows, Mark? I mean, maybe.
No, I don't think she used to say a bunch of dumb stuff, but now when you listen to her talking, she may not be dumb. She may just be a politician, and if she wants to run for higher office, she might not be an idiot. Which is good. I
heard that MTJ, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and AOC are going to get together and run as a ticket. And this will be the most.
I would vote for that ticket. I would love that ticket. That'd
be a great ticket, And so the thing is, AOC and MTG on the same ticket, baby. Let's put them on and see what happens.
But the real reason she's doing
everybody off. What?
Like I said, the real reason she's doing it is because she's running for a higher office. She knows that she has to come more to the middle if she wants to actually win in Georgia.
What office is she running for? Is she running for senator?
I think she's running for Senate next.
Okay. All right. Well, that might be it. So she's trying to move more toward the middle so she can grab more votes. I got it.
Well,
she used to say crazy crap like Jewish people control the weather with space lasers.
Yeah, she has said some crazy stuff.
You mean they don't?
No, they don't. They don't do that.
My turn.
Who controls
the weather has not come up yet. Right.
Your turn. Your turn and everything like that. We only got 5 minutes, and we could touch on this on World Politics later, and definitely on World Edition. tomorrow and everything. But what's up with the mass shootings? Because apparently the U.S. It sounds safer than Bangladesh and some of our other places that people have come to this show from. Because the U.S. approached 340 mass shootings this year after the deadly weekend that we just had. So apparently there's like a lot of folks that got guns and don't know what to do with the guns other than shoot at people. And
so that's almost 1.5 mass shootings a day.
Right.
So it's not great, but we're a big country. We got 1/3 of a billion people. We have about 480 million guns. It doesn't mean that every American's walking around with a gun. About 1/3 of Americans live in gun-owning households, and the average gun-owning household has, like more than half a dozen guns, because you different guns for different purposes. And so if you like guns, you really like guns, and guns are fun. They're heavy. They you fire something and it travels 1,000 feet a second and just punches a big hole in it. It's fun to shoot guns. But
the problem is that they're dangerous. And what they did in Spain is they basically got rid of them. So, and they did in Australia too. But the U.S. culture is right out of the wild west. Yeehaw! So they're not going to get rid of them. So if you want to get away from it, move to Europe. Go to Spain. Spain has 0.06% gun-related deaths. Not even 1 out of 100,000. I mean, it's next to nothing. Where the U.S. is like 5.7. And frankly, it's not just the U.S. It's all of the Americas. In other words, South America's bad. Latin America's bad. Central America's bad. The Caribbean's bad. The whole American continent is bad. That whole New World is horrible. But if you go to Europe, they're under control.
So I want a line of guns in America for pussies like me. Like the smallest caliber gun you can buy easily is a 22.
You'll never get it in America. You have to leave the country. You go to Britain, they don't have all that trash. You go to Spain, they don't have it.
Think about it. I would buy a gun. I would buy a gun for home protection if somebody offered a 15 caliber gun with a little teeny bullet. So if I accidentally shoot myself, I don't kill myself. And it's like a second thought gun. Somebody breaks into your house, you shoot them with a 38, you hit them any place and they're likely dead because it just blows big chunks in you. You shoot them with a 15 caliber gun. I've seen what a 22 does. It just punches a little hole in you and it makes the person upset. And I could, with a 15 caliber gun, you're just punching little holes in the person, which would discourage a lot of burglars. Yeah. But you wouldn't necessarily kill them.
Well, in Spain, they just don't have that. So when you walk outside, you're basically safe, and that's just the name of the game here. So it's a pretty safe country to live. U.S. is not a safe country.
The U.S. has 8-9 times the murder rate of Spain.
I know that, yeah. And so the thing is, my preference is to say, okay, I'm never going to change America, but I can change where I live. The flights are only like what we said, a couple $100, and you're in a different world. So as they say, leave.
You mentioned Venice yesterday.
I'm going to Venice.
You don't need to go to Venice in Las Vegas. You go to the real Venice.
That's exactly right. I'm going to go to real Venice in March again for the third time because, as Jane Fonda said, it's always a good time to go to Venice.
If you go in June, you're dealing with tens of thousands of tourists. You go in March.
Yeah, but in March, no problem.
It's cold, it's rainy, but it's still a beautiful city.
Right.
And freaking, you can sit in Venice having a pizza for 12 euros.
Yeah. Yeah, March and April are nice times to go to Venice. So the thing is, I'm going to head there and go to Ravenna. But I'm looking to go to Egypt in January, but now after looking at the videos, I'm going, maybe not. I can't do the cats and the bad air and the crazies.
Yeah, I don't know why everybody just doesn't.
You can come to Bangladesh.
I can go to Bangladesh, but what is there to see in Bangladesh? In other words, in India you have the Taj Mahal. In Cambodia you have the Angkor Wat. In Bangladesh you have what?
Bangladesh we have a lot of things. Bangladesh we have our Rabindranath Tagore's. Bangladesh we have our mangrove. World largest mangrove in Bangladesh. Bangladesh, we have our largest sea beach, Cox's Bazar. Bangladesh peoples are good. Bangladesh food's good. Bangladesh music,
good.
food,
Yeah, I would
and most
agree with you.
importantly, you like a celebrity hairs.
Do you,
People
do
know
you have
Nicole
a, do you
Veda.
have a ton of spas like they have in Thailand, like you have entire vacation cities?
We are Muslim countries, so we don't have a lot of spa.
Yeah, but you have to have something to attract the idiot tourist like me to go there. In other words, you got to have like some.
You can play golf.
Do you have a Bangladeshi festival or something?
Yeah. We have our Pohela Boishak, our first day of our Bangladesh years. Many people celebrate years. It's very like culturally, it has a lot of things.
Well, get somebody on your tourist thing on their show. Your tour, the Bangladesh.
One thing
all right, so let's go back to Venice. London to Venice, round trip, $56. Barcelona to Venice, round trip from $43.
I know, you're probably on Ryanair or Vueling.
Yeah, it's a crappy airline. You might be uncomfortable or nervous for.
Yeah, but it doesn't. But it's really inexpensive. I've been on
you're only in the air for like 90 minutes.
Yeah, right. That's not a bad deal. But I'm trying to figure out why I should go to Bangladesh, because I can go to Bangladesh too. But I need to get someone from your tourist thing on the show, Dr. Sharif, because
I invite last show. You can see our some politicians and who is responsible for doing this tourist and some other things.
Remember, Egypt and Morocco made a big push into tourism. And so it's like 12%, 15% of their GDP.
Here's why you go to Bangladesh. You see Dhaka, which is one of the great big cities of the world.
Yeah.
But also, you're next to India. You're just a few miles from Nepal. So you go to Kathmandu. You go to Bhutan, which is close by. If they let you in, they're very.
If you let you in. Bhutan's tough.
Yes. Freaking you
Nick, you can launch your Port TV Bangla. 300 million people.
You're a less than a 2-hour flight to Bangkok.
True.
Like Bangladesh is right in the middle of all this. If you can get China to let you into Tibet, you're right there. It's everything is right.
Yeah, Bangladesh has a great location with all these other countries around it. So that'd be pretty.
So we did Port TV here.
Yeah.
Port TV station here. Okay.
No, I mean,
I want to invite you all. I want to invite Rick, Jatovi, Nick. Everybody know you. You can see you have a lot of followers.
Look, if we ever make it over to that corner of the world, I'll be there. The freaking. I've been to. My wife took me on a business trip to, way further east, but freaking Asia is awesome.
Yeah. I agree, and also, unfortunately,
compared to other countries, very cheap.
We have another problem is we're out of time, so we're gonna have to go. That's the reason Mark left. Probably do another show. See you next time on World Listening.